So the way this works, corn comes in here, these guys are spinning, and then this knife will cut the corn, and then these fingers will carry it around and gets sucked in, gets handed to those feed rolls, gets fed into the cutting drum where it gets chopped up, goes through a blower and comes out the pipe into the wagon. since we was having a little trouble sharpening the knives, and what happens is it's stuff gets built up in there, And then as you can see, when it's sharpening, it's dragging a stone across the cutting drum. But if there gets too much stuff in here, it can't make it all the way, and then we'll time out. So while the guys were out switching the bag, I figured I'd open that up and clean it, get my knives sharpened. Oh, cutting with dull knives costs a lot of fuel, and quality of product goes down quite a bit, so better to keep those sharp. So, but we got that all cleaned out and it worked like a charm. So we'll get her back together. Oh, we started chopping about a week ago. A little patch for a neighbor, about 22 acres. And oh man, it's been a bit of a struggle from the get-go. We was gonna start on Monday, and we unfolded the head. And before we, I think I was about ready to turn the head around, and before we could feed any stock into the machine, it a bunch of functions quit working. Turned out my alternator went bad. So before we got any stock fed into the thing, we were broke down already. So Mom had to run the dealer and grab us a new one. We got that on by 2 o'clock and got going on Monday. Chopped that, got done Tuesday, and then I think we were ready to start mine on Wednesday. I think we did start mine on Wednesday. Started chopping Wednesday about 10, 11 o'clock. One problem we ran into, I don't know if you see that hose that kind of is supposed to guide the corn into the machine, and one of the hose clamps came off. The hose clamp kept throwing the magnet alarm, or the metal detector alarm. So that probably took us a solid hour and a half to find that piece. Stuck just next to the rolls apparently, and just hard to find. But by the time we got it, we got going again. Went pretty smooth. Towards the end, about 8 o'clock, our bagger broke on us. So we spent till about midnight tearing that apart. Some more tearing apart in the morning to find out what the problem was. And ours is broke pretty good. It's pretty much a winter project. Ain't gonna get that fixed real quick. So then the hunt was on to find another bagger. Unfortunately, we found out our neighbors bought one. So we ended up they pile all their corn silage, so they're not using it to bag it or nothing. So they said we could rent theirs, and so Thursday we went and hunted that down and got that all gathered around. I think we got going again around 5 on Thursday, and then we chopped on Friday and Saturday. So then we got, between all those days, we got the first 120 acres off. Then it rained on Saturday night about 4/10, which was fine by me. So we got Sunday off from chopping anyway. And now it's Monday, Labor Day, September 6th. And we started our last 40, which is coming along pretty good. I'm guessing we're about halfway. I don't know if we'll quite get it done today, but we'll see how far we get. Biggest problem we got is long run. If we start anywhere before 11 o'clock, we got troubles with the head plugging up on us, and pretty much after the sun goes down, 7 o'clock, it starts to struggle quite a bit. 6, 7 o'clock. Now I've been told these heads are kind of notorious for not working very well when there's any dew on the plants. So keeping that in mind, and then our head needs a little work, which was planned to get that done, but then with my knee, never got to it, and figured out we could probably run it and get things done, and we're getting it done. But yeah, not without its struggles. But we'll get a little footage here, and while while we're taking the last little bit down. This corn is actually pretty good, running right around 38, 39 according to this machine, which is probably about right where we want it for the bags. That's a dry matter. The other 120 acres probably got away from us a little bit. I think last week, the week before, we had a week of like all 90+ degree weather with good winds, drying weather, so that dried that out real quick. So that probably got a little dry on us, low 40s, I'm guessing. But we'll make it work. I guess that's why I saved this field for last. This one looked a little less ripe. I think so far that's about right. So.
Good morning, everybody. It's Labor Day, and we're doing some corn silage here this week. Got about 4 300-foot bags corn silage already bagged up, and we're working on our 5th here. We're running, if anybody that's got a keen eye will notice that bagger's a little different than the one I would usually run. Had a little bit of an issue with ours. Broke down, pretty much out for the season, so luckily enough for us, the neighbor happens to have a bagger, and this one has a 12-foot tunnel on it, and ours was a 10-foot, so it's a little bigger bag, a little beefier machine. It's got a cab on it, which mine doesn't, which I kind of like having a cab, but it's running good. Everything seems to be going all right once we worked out all the kinks and everything. Corn silage has been moving pretty fast here lately, but we're so hopefully we can get some good footage for you and something enjoyable to watch, so stay tuned. First load of the day coming in. Wagon's unloaded. Took about 3 minutes. This bagger's pretty nice. It pretty much eats anything you'll feed it. So unloads fast, and we're loading them up fast, and things are going well for us so far. Got about 2 loads in the bag. This stuff has a little more moisture in it than the field we were in yesterday. But looks like everything's getting processed good, and don't see any whole kernels in there. It's important that you crack the kernels, because that makes the starch in the kernel more available, and that's a great source of energy for the cows. So the more you process that kernel in there, the more available it is to the cow, and the better feed you have to give to the cow. So, but this stuff looks pretty good. It's a lot greener than the stuff we were in yesterday. So hopefully this will make good cow feed. We got about 4 loads to go in this bag yet. Once we get that in, then we'll cut her loose and start another bag. But here comes the next load. Well guys, it's Tuesday and looks like today might be the last day at corn silage, thankfully. Got maybe 5-6 loads to go yet. Running our last bag. Pretty excited about it. Ready for it to be done. It's been a long week, so trying to get the last of it in here and get the bags cleaned up. And we'll be good until next year. Well guys, 6.5 bags later, and here comes the last load. Last load of 2020 corn silage. Go ahead and release our cable on this last load. There's a little switch on the side. You'll hear the cable break loose, and that's so you can actually get the bagger out when you're done. But we're gonna run this one out and we're good to go. That's a wrap, guys. That's all we got. Really good corn this year, really good yield. Bags for days. Hey guys, just getting around to fueling up the bagger and ready to take it back to the neighbors. Pretty much ours broke down, and we'll show you what happened to ours. But we drag it with a tractor. It's a little big for the pickup truck. We're about 3/4 of the way full, so we'll let that pump. And then in the meanwhile, we can kind of show you what broke on ours. So we got this auger in here. This auger back here. Ours is the same. And that auger is what pushes the feed in and keeps packing it in there. And that auger is driven by this Cummins motor over here. So all we got is we got that motor with a clutch, and then this drive shaft runs these belts, and then that belt runs this planetary gears, and then this little pulley has an input shaft, and then the other side has an output shaft. And that output shaft goes on the inside of this auger, and it's pretty much the same as a PTO shaft. And I got it laying over here. We can walk over there, it's still pumping. So here's our planetary gears. Like I said, that's that pulley input shaft, and this is the output shaft. And if you see right here, this is actually the splines. These are actually the splines of the female end that's in the auger.
So that's what broke on ours. So what has to happen to ours is that whole auger has to come out, and then the way they tell me, they torch out the female end of that, and then they got a new insert you can weld back in there. But that's kind of a big project, so we found an alternative bagger. Because when it's time to get the corn off, it's time to get the corn off. But we're done with it and ready to take it back. So we're just gonna drag her down the road. So right here, this is where we ended up pulling that planetary off. And then this is that auger. So those splines came out of that end of that. So they tell me that's a good thing. I guess that planetary is the high dollar part, but high dollars, but a lot less work, I think. So either way, pick your poison. I think the biggest problem we got is we gotta figure out a way to get all that out. I think there's only about one way to get that out. You don't want to know. It involves a lot of hard work, I think. So.